Is my grandpa secretly Commissioner Gordon? What burger of the day do I want to eat today? How does Ben Grimm have children? How is Hope gonna get herself out of this one? Let's have a conversation.
Hello, welcome to Conversations with the Goob. That's me. Let's have a conversation. This week I'd like to have a conversation about a Shrek theory. Mostly about Fiona, but I don't think Fiona was cursed to be an ogre. I think her curse itself, if you want to call it a curse, gives it away completely. But all the other facts line up to show it too. So I'm going to tell you what the curse was. So the curse goes, by night one way, by day another. This shall be the norm until you find true love's first kiss, then you will take on true love's form. So that right there just tells me by day one way, by night another. If you look at it, it's by day one way, by night one way. Night is the normal way. That's the true form. By day another means that in the daytime she's different than how she is usually. I feel like it would be by day one way, by night another, if she was cursed to be the ogre. I mean, it still flows just as well. It doesn't sound weird to say it that way. In fact, you saw me stumbling over my words right there. But so in Shrek 2, we find out that the fairy godmother had planned on her son, Prince Charming, rescuing Fiona and getting married. So if she knew that Fiona was truly an ogre, she wouldn't have sent her son. But the key word there is true love's first kiss. We also see in Shrek 2 that the fairy godmother has a lot of different spells that are all based around true love, including one that she gave to the king to put in Fiona's drink to make her fall in love with whoever kissed her. Now, I don't think that she was under that spell. I think that Prince Charming had some sort of special lip gloss that would make whoever he kissed fall in love with him. And so, I don't even think he knew this. Maybe he did, but my theory is just that he had the spell. He was going to kiss Fiona. She was going to fall in love with him and take true love's form, which was human. He was human. But since she fell in love with Shrek, her true love's form was the ogre. So she stayed an ogre. But I think he just broke whatever the spell was. Maybe the spell wasn't even supposed to be true love's. Maybe that's all that the fairy godmother told them, and that wasn't really the actual curse. My reasoning why, another one that kind of throws it there is the fairy godmother wanted to have her son marry the princess so that she could become queen of Far, Far Away. In some weird way she would have. I mean, she would have been mother-in-law of Far, Far Away. Mother of the king. Because Fiona couldn't have been queen, I guess, on her own without the king. But I don't think that's true. Even though, okay, and then her dad dies, and then 3, they have to go and get someone to take over, because I guess the mom couldn't just be queen. So yes, so Fiona couldn't have just been queen, so he would have become king, and his mother would have been some sort of royal of that. She would have had, money and all the fame and fortune and power that comes with her son being king. So, she started her plan centuries ago. Well, not centuries, decades ago. One second. Well before Fiona and Prince Charming were even in the picture. We learn at the end of Shrek 2 and at the beginning of Shrek 3 that her dad was not a human. Her dad was a frog. he was the frog prince. Now, most frog prince tales are a prince turned into a frog. He has to find a princess that's willing to kiss him so that he can turn back to human. But this one went with the tale that he was always a frog and was turned into a human when he found someone that loved him and kissed him. So the queen kissed the frog, turned the frog prince into a man, then they got married. Now this is where it gets a little convoluted, because how would she know that they're going to have a daughter? How would she know all of that? Maybe she just gave him that in hopes that some way she'd be able to use it to her advantage at some point. And she did. Maybe after they got pregnant and gave birth, maybe at the same point she had a son, or maybe Prince Charming's younger than Fiona and she went and got pregnant afterwards and just hoped it was a son. Either way, she used it to her advantage. Fiona was born an ogre because her dad was a frog and her mom was a human. So when she was born an ogre. And you can say, I don't know if ogres are half frog, but they do that weird thing with their ears, and that could be kind of like honking. And they live in swamps, and they eat bugs. And, I think that they could easily be frog people. They kind of look froggish too when you look at Shrek. But either way, that's my theory, is that she decided I can turn her human just like I did her dad. But I want my son to be the one that does it. So she tells her it's a curse. She immediately put the spell on her as soon as Fiona was born. Let's assume maybe Prince Charming was born the year before, and then Fiona's born, and she immediately concocts this spell and puts it on her without the parents knowing, so that she's able to then say, oh, I can help you guys, yes. And so she was locked away in the tower, and she was sending Prince Charming to go and rescue Fiona, because she knew about Fiona, but he waited too long and Shrek got there first. So that's where I think he had some sort of like special lip gloss that would have made Fiona fall in love with him, and she would have become human. And none of it was a curse, it was all just fairy godmother's spells. But because she fell in love with Shrek, she took on her true form as an ogre. And more of it is, if you look at the way that Fiona presents herself, she doesn't come off, other than the very first time when we meet her, where she's all being like, take my handkerchief, oh, I must see the knight that saved me. Other than that, she doesn't really come off as princess. She comes off as an ogre. She has no problem like blowing up the snake and turning it into a balloon animal. She has no problem. She sings and makes the birds blow up, and she just laughs and steals their eggs like it was her plan all along. She has no issue eating the bugs and the rats, and she's like, oh, this is delicious. Her only issue is when she turns into the ogre permanently. She's like, I'm so ugly. And Shrek is like, you're beautiful to me. And she's like, okay, I love you, and you think I'm beautiful? I must be beautiful. It's a little too fast. Most girls that have insecurities with their looks aren't going to switch that quickly, but it's a cartoon. So she's perfectly fine being an ogre after that. And then like you watch how she is. Just because she looks like an ogre doesn't mean she would keep acting like it. In the second movie, when they fart, have like a fart competition until they make the hot tub, like that's not very princess-like. That's ogre-like. So she was very comfortable at being an ogre. She just was insecure about her looks. So I think, and I'm pretty sure that it's collaborated with the evidence in the movies, Fiona was always an ogre, and she was cursed to be human at day. Or just a spell that made it where she looked human at day, just so the fairy godmother had more of a chance to be able to take her over. Take over the kingdom. So I think what I would like is comments down below. Do you agree with this theory? Did you already know this? Is this what you thought too? Do you think the movies are a lot better knowing that she was always an ogre? You think it doesn't make any difference whatsoever? let's have some comments down below about this theory about Fiona. And I know they keep saying that there's supposed to be a Shrek 5 coming. Now it's like a soft reboot, but they have all the original voice actors coming back. So how is it really a reboot? It's just a remake of the exact same movie. Not sure if that's even happening anymore. With COVID, a lot of those planned movies were scrapped. I would love a Shrek 5. But, yeah. Just as always, remember, you don't even have superpowers to be a hero.